Hi everyone! I want to thank you for watching my videos and for subscribing to my channel. Today I want to show you the new Rosabella Beauty bed that I created this week. This bed was very troublesome. My original idea did not work out for it, so what you're seeing is actually a Plan B bed. However, despite that, I think it came out really nice. The original bed was nice, but it was a bit too simple and plain for me, so I ended up completely taking this bed apart because I intended to reuse several parts of it. But first, I took a trip to the craft store and I bought some trims. These other two are from Melody Piper. I bought some new yellow fabrics and got it cut down to size. And when I got home, I took this yellow ribbon trim and I took the bed, Rosabella's former bed, and I hot glued it around the sides to make it a bed skirt. Then I took this sheer gold fabric and I hot glued that on top of the bed skirt. Then I took this wood artistic molding and I painted it kind of a bronzy gold color, and I hot glued that to the top so that the bed would look a little bit more finished. Then I took this wonderful ribbon called Olive Leaves from a store called Paper Source and I hot glued it on top of the artistic molding, which I think turned out nice. Then I took 4 1/4-inch dowel rods and painted them brown. Then I wrapped more of the Olive Leaves ribbon around each of the brown dowel rods to make it look like poles with leaves on them. For the canopy, I found this little box from Art Minds and these little square blocks from Michaels and painted everything and hot glued the blocks on top of the box. Hot glued some fabric inside to resemble curtains, hot glued more of the sheer fabric inside, and then hot glued 2 of the poles to hold up the canopy. This was my Plan A headboard. It was a paper mache book and it didn't cost a ton of money, which is nice. I spray painted it with a hammered brown color. There you can see I kind of let the paint run a little bit too long. But I thought, well, I can still kind of paint over this and make it into a nice headboard, and it's fitting for Rosabella because she likes books. And then I ripped off her old headboard, this golden yellow rose, but then it was just way too thick and there was no room for her pillow. So what I had to do was go with a Plan B, which is this rectangular plaque that I painted. I hot glued a piece of fur across the top, took a slice of her box off for Beast Rights, and hot glued that on top of her former rose headboard. For the footboard, I found this nicely shaped wood plaque by Art Minds and painted it a bronzy gold color. Then I had these golden paper roses, which I thought would look beautiful, and I hot glued some of these to the poles. Then I hot glued the poles to the footboard and the footboard to the bed, and also the headboard to the bed. And that's what I had for a frame thus far. Then I thought her footboard was plain, so I found this crown I had half painted silver and I repainted it gold. I added a golden paper rose on top and a piece of fur on the bottom. Then these aren't paper, these are fabric roses from Ofray in the wedding section of Michaels. And I hot glued those on, as well as some yellow and gold gems to the top. And then I hot glued that to the footboard to finish it. Then I hot glued 2 more golden paper roses to the parts of the bed that you'll be able to see before the pillow and blanket go on. And I also hot glued some fabric and paper roses to the canopy, where I've intertwined some of the olive leaf ribbon as well. So it looks like these roses are kind of sprouting from these vines on top of her bed, which I think looks rather enchanting. I hope you guys like it. To make her pillow, this is her old pillow. I hot glued a piece of the olive leaf ribbon across the top. Now I'm going to hot glue these fabric roses across the top, and there's her pillow. For her blanket, step 1 was to hot glue this sheer gold fabric on top of the crinkly yellow fabric that I bought that you guys saw me buying at Joann Fabrics. Then I hot glued her former fabric to the top, as well as 2 pieces of this ribbon to the side. And then I hot glued more of the bed skirt ribbon, hot glued more of the fur ribbon, found this gold ribbon trim and hot glued it to the top and the bottom of it. Then I hot glued the olive leaf ribbon to the top and bottom. Then I added more of the fabric pink roses to the top and bottom, and now her blanket is finished. So this is where we are with the bed. Let's add our pillow. And now let's add our blanket. And there's a look at the finished bed. Ta-da! I really like how it turned out. I think it looks really luxurious and princessy, but the fur elements represent her beast side, and then that little beast right sign from her box really shows what she's all about. What do you guys think? Hope you like it. Now it's time to put Rosabella on her bed to see if she goes well with it. I think she does. Now she has a bed she can be proud of. And now let's put her in hers and Darling's dorm room. Finally, she has a bed that doesn't look quite so plain compared to Darling's. And now let's do a shout out. Here's a shout out to GJ Desjardins. I hope I pronounced it right. That's sort of a French pronunciation. Anyway, thanks for watching my videos, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much.